Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Masiko Matlala, and on today's video we're going to be talking about 5 things I wish I knew before I started college. If you're here, please don't forget to subscribe as well as ring that notification bell for more content to come. And yeah, let's dive into today's topic. First on my list is that you're on your own. There is no one holding your hand. Now, the transition from being a learner to being a student requires you to be disciplined, it requires you to be mature, and it requires tons of good self-management. When you get to an institution such as like a college, which is a tertiary institution, there is no one to guide you, there is no one to show you where the classes are, there is no one to remind you that, oh, we want your ID tomorrow. Everything needs to be in order when you start college. You need to step up for yourself and you need to show up for yourself as an adult, and you need to make sure that everything of yours is always organized. Like, for example, in the first week of registration, you don't have anyone to force you or anyone to help you get your copies in order. They require a lot of your personal information, and you need to make sure that you have that information available and readily easy to access. Whenever the school wants an ID copy, have that. Whenever they want you at school, make sure you're available to go to school. When they have orientation weeks and when you have these little gathering with your peers and people are just starting, make sure you attend those things because that is where you obtain a lot of your information. Number two is that personal management is key. Now, you're probably used to a routine without even realizing it. If you're from high school, you probably wake up, someone gets you up in the morning, you have breakfast if you're lucky enough, or if you have time, you probably have TV before you leave, you get on your transport, make a whole lot of noise before you get to school. Now, this routine is definitely going to change and it might probably shift when you go from, your high school to your college. You need to be more organized. What time am I getting up in the morning? You need to know how many meals are you going to have in a day? How often are you going to study? You also need to sort out different aspects of your life. You need to sort out your social life, you need to sort out your finances. You need to make sure that your personal management is in check. Another thing that I want to mention when it comes to personal management is time management. Managing your time is very, very important. After certain modules are covered, it's time for assignments. After certain modules are covered, we have our tests. After everything is covered, we have our exams. So this is actually a time that is already set, so you need to know how to manage your habits, your routines, and make sure that everything aligns with time periods that are already set by the college. Like, my college has already issued out when we're having our exams, when we're gonna have our semester break. So I already have it in my mind that whenever I get my resources, I need to sort out that by March I need to have covered content, because when I come back from my Easter break, excuse me, I'm going to need to be already in exam mode and preparing to finish. Number three is know yourself. Being tertiary may be a time for growth and change. Make sure that you do embrace this growth and change, but also make sure that these new experiences that you may want to embrace or things that you want to experience do not take away from your authentic self. It's key and it's very important that you learn to say no, that you're available on your own terms, that you attend events that you actually want to attend to. You don't have to be available for every social. You don't have to be available to go to every club. You don't have to be, just because we invited you, you need to be there. You need to say no. You need to start embracing that you are your own person. And if you want to go out, then go out, but only if truly and authentically you are the one that wants to be doing these different activities and you want to be available during those times. Number four is invest time into your studies. Now, this one is like, I feel like if you're already in tertiary, it's a bit obvious that you're investing your time towards your education, but now you need to be in more detail. You need to set academic goals for yourself. I will make an example of how I've seen a difference between my first semester and my second semester by applying my own advice to you guys. When you start being comfortable with certain subjects, modules, whatever, you need to start telling yourself that, okay, for the test, the exam, the whatever assignment, I'm gonna get like a 60. And when you set yourself for a 60, obviously your strategies will be towards working for a 60. You'll study 30 minutes a day, you'll study once a week, you'll do whatever, but you need to make sure that whatever goal that you set, it it properly aligns with the effort that you put in. If you're not a person who's working towards getting really high marks or don't know where to start, try studying for 30 minutes per subject a day. So when you get home or when you're at school and you have 30 minutes, just take a textbook and read through what was already gone through. College is similar to high school. I don't know about university, but we have classes the same way we did in high school. A lecturer will stand in front of us, you'll explain content, we'll discuss, class dismissed. Now, whatever was discussed, if you're not a person who likes to read ahead, you'll go home and you'll read that for 30 minutes. Now, you're not just going to read that, you're not trying to analyze, find information, and break down the information, make it more easy to grasp. While you do this, make sure that you take notes. You'll be able to ask questions in your next class or whatever it may be. But now you're not just absorbing information, but you are now absorbing and comprehending and probably even understanding information better, which is a technique that actually works for those people who, that person who doesn't really study, they just listen, and then next time when you ask them about a certain topic, they know how to explain it in more detail and whatever. That might help you just going through what you've already learned. And then if you want to study ahead, obviously you will read a page or two ahead, so that when you are in class, you're not just doing this to seem smart, but you're doing this so that when the lecturer starts explaining certain things, you've already circled questions, you've already circled things that you may have found difficult at home, and you're able to start asking questions, and your comprehension is probably going to even be better by doing that. A continuation of number 4 is plan your career ahead. If you're in a TVET college like I am, you're already working towards a designated career and you're already being trained to work in a certain field. By now, you're supposed to start looking for internships, looking for the kind of job people do with whatever certificate or whatever qualification you're working towards, and you need to engage a bit more with people who actually have the experience. A lot of my lecturers started as interns, they worked in finance, and now they are lecturers. Just ask people like that, people who might know what the next step is, read about it. The internet always has a lot of information on certain things. Just make sure that you always stay ahead, so that when you finish with your career or with college, you don't have to start now thinking from scratch, what must I do, and so forth. You just already know where to start and how to start it. Number 5, I've already touched on, but I want to get into more details because I feel like it's very important. You need to set routines. Now, a routine doesn't necessarily take away the freedom, or, I don't know, like a lot of people are against routines and doing the same thing repeatedly. But I'm here to tell you that when you have a routine, you actually have a clear direction of how your morning is gonna go. You know that you get up at 5:30 every day, and by 7 you're done, you're headed out. I feel like that gives you a bit more ease, other than asking yourself, okay, when I wake up this morning, am I gonna take a jog? Am I gonna take whatever the routine, like a strict routine? I wake up at a certain time, I eat at a certain time, I leave at a certain time. You know that by school you're by 8, you're at school. Even when exams come and you need to be seated by 8, you know that you're one of those ones that's gonna be seated for an hour and you're ready and you're relaxing. You know that you're not one that's likely to miss class. You just know these things because you have a routine. For example, I get up at 5:30 every day, and by I think it's by 7, we're already at my mom's workplace and I'm waiting for class. And by the time I go to school, I'm early, or I'm on time for a class. And that just brings so much freedom to me, other than me wanting to change that. Okay, I'll leave after my mom leaves, and then like I'll get there just before school starts. There are many things that might happen. There are people who travel by taxi, there's traffic, there's load shedding. If you don't have a routine, you are probably setting yourself up for big failure because you have like no direction. I see this with people who I had as my classmates. Like someone would literally arrive 5 minutes before the exam starts, and most of the time you aren't even allowed because you need to have your rules read to you. It's an entire process. So learning how to be early and sitting and making sure that you have time for yourself in the morning, it just sets a good tone for your day. Just imagine if you had just 10 minutes of meditation, just 10 minutes of prayer in the morning. Just imagine the relaxation that just comes with knowing that, you know what, I have time, I'm going to do everything I need to do, and I'm going to be just on time. Just show up for yourself differently and set routines for everything. Now my last point, um it's not a last point, it's not another point, it's just self-care is so important in college. Okay, self-care comes in different forms for different people. Self-care for me is just taking time to reflect and to check in as to whether I'm okay. Now I do this differently. Sometimes I'll take a walk during the weekend, I'll go out and I'll go see my boyfriend, I'll be at home, I'll clean. I just make sure that I pour back into myself, because being in college is so much pressure, because you need to remember that you're working towards your career, you are working towards qualifying for exams, you need to make sure that you are working towards, you're always working towards something bigger than yourself. So self-care is always the best way to give back to yourself. Now if you guys are in college, please do share some of the experiences that you may have in the comment section, and yeah, we could continue the conversation in my comments. I will be sharing more on my college journey because I feel like it's just something that brings so much joy to me. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this, please don't forget to throw a thumbs up and make sure that that notification bell is up. Don't forget to subscribe. I love you guys. Bye till next time.